Princelings counterattack, climax of CCP infighting imminent. Breaking through internet censorship, Chinese netizens send open letter to CCP law enforcement personnel. Nearly 80% of Americans distrust Xi Jinping. China's top investment bank slashes salaries by 25% amid financial downturn. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Princelings counterattack, climax of CCP infighting imminent. The most exciting drama of the CCP's internal struggle is set to unfold. In a sudden twist, Beijing's deputy mayor Gao Pang has been ousted over political controversies. In another dramatic development, Yang Xiaoming, heralded as the father of China's COVID-19 vaccine, found himself under arrest. The plot thickens with the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection deploying inspection teams to scrutinize over 30 key economic and financial entities, including the Princeling-dominated CITIC Group. Let's unpack these events with insights from the experts of NTD TV's Elite Forum. Is a political storm on the horizon? Independent TV producer Li Jun described Gao Pang as a local stalwart, having worked his way up from the grassroots in Beijing. He is primarily in charge of Beijing's administrative, transportation, and rural affairs and also serves on the Tiananmen Security Management Committee. An incident at Tiananmen during the parliamentary sessions involved a vehicle breach at Zongnanhai's Xinhua Gate. In CCP circles, there's a saying that the lower levels do nothing, the upper levels deflect blame, meaning that when trouble arises, it's the middle ranks who face the consequences, and as the official responsible for Tiananmen Square, Gao Pang was held accountable. Political analyst Heng He noted that Gao Pang's dismissal was cited as due to serious breaches of discipline and law, which typically implies political infractions, since party discipline is distinct from legal violations like corruption. Mr. Heng He suggested that responsibility wouldn't fall to Xi Jinping or to Beijing's top municipal leaders, but rather to the person directly overseeing the area, which in this case, implicated Gao Pang politically. Epoch Times editor-in-chief Gui Jun commented that Gao Pang, as Beijing's vice mayor, was caught between the long-standing local officials and the newer factions from Zhejiang and Fujian brought in by Xi Jinping. Beijing's entrenched elites often look down on these newcomers, and Gao Pang was seen as part of this dynamic. Ms. Gui Jun explained that Beijing is a hotspot for power struggles given its political importance. Stability in the mayor's office is crucial for the central leadership's confidence. Unusual changes in this role often reflect deeper power conflicts, illustrated by the mysterious 1995 death of former Deputy Mayor Wang Baosan, an event deeply tied to internal party dynamics and leadership disputes at the time. Wang Baosan was a close associate of Chen Shitong, then the Beijing party secretary. When Jiang Zemin ascended to power, he moved to consolidate his control by targeting Chen Shitong, who was seen as a loyalist of Deng Xiaoping. Wang Baosan's death, amidst this power struggle, remains shrouded in mystery. The vaccine fathers fall amid numerous expert deaths. Prior to Gao Pang's scandal, another notable case is Yang Xiaoming, acclaimed as the father of China's COVID-19 vaccine, was also ousted. During China's 3-year pandemic, companies involved in disease prevention and health, like those conducting nucleic acid tests and manufacturing vaccines, profited immensely. Mr. Heng He commented that Yang Xiaoming's troubles probably stem more from economic than political issues. He wasn't just an expert, he held a crucial administrative role at Sinopharm and owned another company, suggesting possible misconduct in the vaccine's development and rollout. There are known issues with Sinopharm's vaccine, including risks of incomplete virus deactivation. This means that during the vaccination process, there is a risk of injecting live virus or reactivating the virus, essentially turning disease prevention into disease transmission. The production and distribution processes in China are fraught with risks, with mass-produced vaccines often failing to meet their purported efficacy. The real issues likely lie in the compromised integrity of the vaccine trials, involving bribery and connections to expedite approvals and market entry. Mr. Heng He added that the pandemic is technically still ongoing in mainland China, though underreported and no longer monitored through widespread testing. There's a belief among some that the vaccine underperformed, misleading the central government. With Xi Jinping at the helm, the Communist Party is reluctant to assume responsibility, necessitating a scapegoat, hence Yang Xiaoming's ousting. It's believed that technical issues with the vaccine are known, and assigning blame necessitated his dismissal. Ms. Guijun also noted that, by some accounts, Yang Xiaoming's downfall could be seen as fortunate given the alarming mortality rate among professionals linked to virus and vaccine efforts over the past 2 years. This includes several high-profile figures across various related fields, such as Chao Xiaobin, senior manager at Beijing-based Sinovac, Wu Jianguo, a renowned virologist and former director of the National Key Laboratory of Virology, and Wu Zuinyo, the most famous chief expert in epidemiology at the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, among others. This underscores the perceived dangers within the domestic vaccine milieu, with numerous specialists having succumbed. She aims to seize economic power. Can the Princelings bite off this cheese? Mr. Shishan highlighted that during China's 3-year pandemic, companies in health and epidemic prevention, like those conducting nucleic acid tests and making vaccines, flourished. There's been long-standing speculation about ties between China's biopharmaceutical sector and Jiang Zemin's son, Jiang Mianheng. Now, it appears Xi Jinping is setting his sights on the Jiang family. Another issue in Beijing is the control Princelings have over various sectors, often linked to large financial or holding firms, with plans for more than 30 inspection teams to investigate these companies. Mr. Shishan pointed out that the fiercest and riskiest battles within the CCP involve the Princelings, who are not only wealthy and powerful but also bold, unlike other groups. It was rumored at the end of last year that the 2024 anti-corruption focus would be the financial sector, directly impacting the Princelings' core interests, shaking their foundations and threatening their revenue streams. This could provoke severe backlash. According to Ms. Guijun, many of China's large enterprises from the early reform era were founded by Princelings, such as Wang Jun's Poly Group and Yi Jianying's Kelly Group. Some of these firms have since fallen, changed hands, or been dissolved. The collapse of Zhongchuan Company, for instance, led to the disappearance of billions in assets, causing great frustration for Zhu Rongji, though he was powerless to act. This capital was redistributed among other companies, which then dominated various industries, creating enormous wealth for roughly 200 to 300 major families. Xi Jinping's rule has transformed the political landscape from oligarchic to autocratic, cutting off these families' financial avenues. With Beijing teeming with anti-Xi factions backed by Princeling families, this year's anti-corruption drive in the financial sector seems to be Xi's strategy to completely dismantle these families' wealth bases, setting the stage for the most dramatic saga within the CCP's upper echelons. Mr. Heng he noted that currently, political factions at the central level are minimal, and Xi Jinping's challenge is managing the economically powerful Princelings. She has already taken proactive steps, so the reaction of these bold Princelings, who differ significantly from the more cautious Youth League faction, will be crucial. China's next phase could be the bloody turmoil we have envisioned, and this is indeed a very likely scenario. Breaking through internet censorship, Chinese netizens send open letter to CCP law enforcement personnel. A journalist from Sound of Hope recently received an open letter from a resident of a northeastern province in mainland China. This individual had circumvented internet censorship to view foreign news, and because of that, he was recently summoned to the police station. The letter is addressed to those working within the public security, prosecutorial, and judicial sectors in mainland China and is signed by a long-oppressed citizen. The letter is a thought-provoking plea for reflection. Below is the complete letter. To the practitioners of public security, procuratorate, and judiciary in mainland China. Greetings! We, the people of China, find ourselves at a historic crossroads. Increasingly, our fellow citizens are recognizing the malevolent nature and grotesque facade of the Chinese Communist Party, which has oppressed us for nearly a century. Internationally, just nations are distancing themselves from the CCP. The party resembles a terminal cancer patient, its malignancy widespread, vital systems failing, on the brink of collapse. Ironically, those few attempting to sustain it, including Xi Jinping, dubbed the chief accelerator of the CCP's demise, are hastening its end. This label for Xi stems from his decisions, which consistently illuminate the CCP's evil side for more people. The Chinese Communist Party continues to cling to survival largely because law enforcement personnel, particularly the public security police and the mindless nationalists known as Little Pinks, are willing to sustain it. Law enforcement officials in mainland China consider this: if the CCP is as mighty and formidable as state media claims, why does it prevent public access to information beyond the Great Firewall? Is it truly out of fear that foreign influences might sway the Chinese populace, as they assert? This rationale is not only absurd but also deeply insulting. Consider whether any Chinese lacks sight or intelligence, or if anyone finds comfort in being burned by a flame. The real purpose behind the Great Firewall and the efforts to prevent its circumvention is to keep hidden the CCP's sordid history and the grim realities of its dictators and corrupt officials. When the hollow promise of communist paradise falls flat, the narrative shifts to common prosperity. Who has actually prospered? Only the corrupt officials and the privileged princelings. Under the CCP's iron fist, the once great civilization of China has disintegrated. Morality has eroded, the economy has stagnated, unemployment rates have soared, and societal issues abound. And you, the law enforcement personnel, although you receive the CCP's pay and benefits, merely pick at the leftovers. This blood-stained sustenance comes directly from the sweat of the populace, whom you then oppress. Does this not weigh on your conscience? On behalf of all righteous citizens, I urge every Chinese at this pivotal historical moment to choose wisely. Especially the law enforcement and Little Pink supporters, cease being pawns for the CCP's tyranny over a mere pittance. Should the CCP fall, the repercussions you face will be among the harshest historical punishments imaginable. Even if not death, you will endure widespread condemnation and relentless denunciation from your own families. You will rue your earlier actions and spend your remaining days haunted by guilt for compromising your principles. Reflect on whether you are prepared to face such severe judgment in the future. Do you want your descendants to be shamed because of your mistakes? You may doubt the reality of karmic justice, but consider the historical examples of Wang Lijun and Bo Xilai, who became infamous for their ruthless practices in Chongqing and ultimately faced retribution. Bo and Wang eventually ended up behind bars, becoming scapegoats for the CCP's persecution of the people. Wang Lijun and Bo Xilai are a lesson for you. Seeing the fate of both, are you still willing to be in the same boat with the CCP, which is covered in blood and is on its last legs? Do you still want to help the CCP persecute the people? Many of you might feel like you're stuck in a destructive system, akin to being on a sinking ship. Regardless of whether you're working to make ends meet or chasing fame and fortune, remember the old wisdom: a family that gathers good deeds will enjoy abundant blessings, a family that gathers bad deeds will face many disasters. It's believed that only the virtuous will overcome adversities. Good will always be rewarded with good, and evil with evil. This is a timeless truth. You always have the option to choose the path of justice. Take, for example, the police officer who came to caution me. I noticed the varying behaviors among the officers. When the CCP is thrown into the dustbin of history, when the time of reckoning arrives, and when these officers face judgment, I will stand up and advocate for those who acted with compassion. Simple warnings won't change hearts or prevent the CCP's inevitable fall, they might even hasten it. By standing by your moral principles now, you avoid being implicated in its wrongdoings. Therefore, I urge more law enforcement officers in mainland China to embrace justice, humanity, and kindness. Avoid complicity with evil, do not support wrongdoing, and certainly do not assist those who do evil. In this pivotal moment of change, let's come together and do all we can to dismantle the CCP's authoritarian rule and forge a peaceful, prosperous future for our descendants. Nearly 80% of Americans distrust Xi Jinping. The Pew Research Center's latest survey, conducted from April 1st to 7th, has once again highlighted a pervasive negative sentiment towards the Chinese Communist Party among American adults. According to the findings, approximately 81% of Americans hold a negative view of the CCP, with 43% expressing a very negative opinion. This marks the fifth consecutive year of widespread disapproval. The survey, which involved 3,600 participants, revealed varied perceptions of the CCP's role on the global stage. Half of the respondents view the CCP as a competitor, 42% consider it an enemy, and a mere 6% see it as a partner, with many prioritizing the limitation of the CCP's power. Moreover, 79% of Americans distrust Xi Jinping's ability to make the right international decisions. Regarding the CCP's global influence, 71% of Americans believe it is increasing, and 61% are concerned about its territorial disputes with neighboring countries. These concerns are particularly acute among Republicans, who are twice as likely as Democrats to view the CCP as an enemy. Age also plays a significant role in perceptions of the CCP. Negative views are more prevalent among older Americans, with 61% of those over 65 harboring a very negative view, compared to just 27% of those under 30. The CCP's recent provocative actions in the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea, coupled with its covert support for Russia's involvement in Ukraine, have exacerbated its international isolation. These developments have heightened tensions between the U.S. and China, leading to intensified containment efforts by the U.S. and its allies. As American public sentiment grows increasingly negative towards the CCP, bipartisan calls for the U.S. government to adopt stronger measures to counter the CCP's threats are intensifying. China's top investment bank slashes salaries by 25% amid financial downturn. China's economy is faltering, with local government finances feeling the squeeze. In response, China International Capital Corporation, CICC, a prominent investment bank, has implemented severe salary cuts as a cost-saving measure. Reports on April 28 from Reuters, citing three sources, revealed that CICC employees face a 25% reduction in base salary, effective immediately, impacting over 2,000 staff. Further cuts may extend to its Hong Kong offshore investment banking division. Previously, CICC had slashed bonuses by up to 40% and has now followed up with another unusual 25% salary cut this year. The company has not commented further on these reductions. These measures highlight the financial pressures within China's largest investment banks and the broader challenges in the financial sector, evidenced by reduced salary budgets and wages among 25 brokerages reported by Eatsai, a mainland media outlet. The economic strain is exacerbated by the CCP's policies, which diverge from market-driven principles. American economist David J. Wong criticized the CCP's strategy for bolstering state control at the expense of private enterprise, noting historical failures of state and planned economies. Similarly, Taiwanese economist Wu Jialong contrasted the competitive innovation found in capitalist societies with the power-driven control in communist systems, leading to widespread systemic corruption and inefficiencies. This economic downturn has prompted significant austerity measures across major financial firms, following the CCP's directives for common prosperity and belt-tightening. These include widespread wage cuts and layoffs, particularly in sectors commanding high salaries such as brokerage and investment banking, now facing severe operational challenges due to ongoing economic decline, business failures, and a bearish stock market. Wu Jialong emphasizes that these financial crises are not mere political maneuvering but reflect deep-seated fiscal problems from the central to the local levels. The government prioritizes maintaining stability through the military and police, necessitating cuts in other areas and revealing a financial crisis too critical to conceal. Experts agree that without significant reforms to the CCP's authoritarian regime, it's unlikely any policy could revive the Chinese economy. Let us know your thoughts on today's topic by leaving a comment below. If you found this video helpful, Please share it with a friend, it inspires us to continue creating more quality and reliable content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting insights from China Truths. Thanks for tuning in.